You know what'll make you feel better after a tough loss to the Mavericks? Beating the Lakers again. Coach Malone is now the winningest coach in Nuggets franchise history. We'll talk about it on tonight's Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Sunday. If you're listening to this, man, I can't believe the chat's bumping. Chat's pumping at 1 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. I want to give DNVR a little bit of time to do their show, and then I also had other things I was working on, doing a rewatch of the game. Tonight's show is brought to you by Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being an everydayer. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys being with us. This is going to be a super brief show. Want to recap the Nuggets game. Want to make sure that we commemorate Michael Malone becoming the winningest coach in Nuggets franchise history. Want to make sure that we commemorate him and Nikola Jokic and the rest of the Nuggets making the Lakers just helpless once again, being the Lakers daddy once again. Want to make sure to commemorate that. We will do a full show on Sunday night for No Jinx with Ryan and I. I will go into like a lot more of my thoughts on Malone and like what this means, but we'll touch on it a little bit tonight anyway. The Nuggets get the win over the Los Angeles Lakers, 127-102. Tough first half, back and forth. Second night of a back-to-back, no AG. I had low expectations of this game. I was like, I don't really think they're going to get this done. The Lakers have been dynamite at home. AD's played really well versus Jokic the last couple of times out. Like, he was really great in that playoff series last year, at least offensively, even though they got gentlemen swept. This was more of the same. Second half open, and the Nuggets came out and just absolutely trounced them. It was so impressive the way that the Nuggets beat the Lakers. They disrupted them by getting into the passing lanes. They made the Lakers quit offensively. AD in particular, just like there were sequences by the end of the third where AD has the ball. There's a sequence I posted on Twitter. Jokic just like backs off and is like, whatever, man, you're going to shoot a jumper. Go ahead. And he shoots it and he misses it, and they run it out for another score. There was a sequence where AD tries to get into the lane. Jokic does a great job getting his hands up. AD tries I'm going to fall down and get a call, and doesn't get it, misses. Jokic gets the rebound, outlet up ahead. MPJ with a great bounce pass. And then that was a different sequence. But anyway, kick to the corner for MPJ, and it's a wide open three because AD's behind the play. Like, we've seen this show before. We know this song, and every Nuggets fan has to love it because the Nuggets outworked, out-hustled, outsmarted, outplayed the Lakers in every facet of the game in the second half. It was absolutely dominant. Nikola Jokic in this one finishes with 34 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Jokic was plus 39 in this game. They outscored the Lakers by 39 points with him on the floor. 12 of 20 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range, 7 of 8 from the line. Anthony Davis only had 3 free throws, and can't really complain about that if you're a Lakers fan because it's not like he was really trying to get inside. It was absolutely incredible. Jokic was beating AD up and down the floor in that third quarter, just absolutely getting down there before. Another phenomenal game from Nikola. For him to bring this, I know he was off for a week, but for him to be off for a week, come back, play last night, be as good as he was, tough loss, get on a plane, land in Los Angeles, and then do this. Just, it's just hard to really, he has long ago crossed the threshold where words are adequate to describe how good he is. And so all I'm left with is, watch him and enjoy him because it's absolutely phenomenal. But he wasn't the only one. So Michael Porter Jr. took a lot of heat for how he was in the playoffs last year in that Wolves loss, but I kept saying, he was great in that Lakers series. He is such a good matchup versus the Lakers. 24 points for MPJ, 10 of 15 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, 11 boards, 4 assists. Matt Brooks from Nuggets.com has a great thread up on Twitter of all like the great passes from MPJ this year. His bounce pass to Christian Brown in transition was absolutely terrific. MPJ was killing them on cuts and split cuts and driving. He has gotten so much better with the ball in his hands, and it's been really phenomenal. It's a really big adjustment for MPJ to do that. It opens up his game considerably. He was terrific. How about Christian Brown? 7 of 7 from the field, a plus 13 for Christian, 16 points, 3 assists, didn't miss a shot, didn't miss a 3. Same great defense, got out and ran. His ability to finish, I honestly cannot believe how good he is at finishing right now. That's always been my concern is like, hey, what's going to happen when he's on the scouting report? But he is so good about he's so athletic and getting the edge. Nobody's really ready for him. Nobody's ready for him in transition when he's driving to the basket. They're always a step behind him. And once he's got the edge on you, he's going to outjump you. He's going to finish over you. His finishing has gotten much better. It was really good. Russell Westbrook got revenge tonight. Big time. That Lakers franchise, I just want to say this, they did him extremely wrong. Look, Russ has a lot of problems, and Russ has made a lot of problems for himself. And his unwillingness to adapt and change his game has always been frustrating as his career has gone on. However, no one has ever said anything bad about Russ in the locker room except the Lakers. He was loved and respected in OKC. He was loved and respected in Houston. He was loved and respected in Washington. He was loved and respected with the Clippers. He's loved and respected in Denver. Russ is not a perfect player, and there's a very good chance that by the end of the season and in the playoffs, people are going to be like, Russ can't play. That's going to be I will not be surprised if that's the case, that the comments are filled with get Russ off the floor. He can't play. Why is Russ out there? I'm not just talking about swipe a tweeting either. Just like everyone will probably say that. However, what you will not say is you will not say that Russell Westbrook was bad for the locker room because he's never been that. And the Lakers tried to pin him that way, and that was unfair. That was them scapegoating a failed regime, a failed plan on Russell Westbrook when he never even asked to come to the Lakers. He was traded there. So it's cool to see Russ get this play. 11 dimes for Russ tonight. 14 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, a plus 17, 6 of 10 from the field. A great game. Played great defense. Was so physical. The Lakers guards, Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, cannot hang with the athleticism that the Nuggets bring to the table. They consistently find ways to get Reeves matched up on MPJ, and he destroys them. It was Peyton Watson, etc. Peyton Watson, again, another great night, by the way. 11 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He also was running. Like, they just outworked him in this one. Jamal Murray, 14 points on 5 of 12 shooting. Okay. 5 boards, 5 assists, plus 20. Not saying sort of like bounce back game, but I don't think that Jamal was bad in this one. So I'm not going to sit here and say that he was terrible. And that's totally fine. Like, team win, Nuggets got the win. Absolutely terrific game. It was unbelievable. It was just like, it was really incredible. By the way, one thing on Jamal, another lob to DeAndre Jordan tonight. That was notable to me. If Jamal can actually get some chemistry going with DJ, I kind of like that pairing. It's not going to work in the playoffs. It's not going to work versus the really good teams. It shouldn't have worked versus the Lakers, but it did. By the way, that was followed by a sequence where Anthony Davis had DeAndre Jordan in the block and faced him up and then was just like, no, like he tried to give him the shoulder and DJ didn't go anywhere. And then the clock was down. And so AD threw a hand grenade to Reeves, who airballed a 3. It was really weird night. Even AD critic, was like, what is going on with AD? Like, I was like, why is his body language was absolutely terrible. I'm getting asked if Russ can be 6th man of the year. No. That's going to be Peyton Pritchard. And if it's not, it's going to be Malik Monk. And if it's not, it's going to be somebody else. Like, you have to be able to score consistently 18 to 25 points a game if you're going to be 6th man of the year. At least 15 plus. And Russ probably will not get there. This is the good time. I want to remind you that we were talking about Reggie Jackson as like 6th man of the year at this exact time last year. I'm not saying that Russ is going to turn into a pumpkin like Reggie, although it is very possible / likely. But I'm just trying to say, like, no, I would not get ahead of yourself about Russ 6th man of the year. The Nuggets played with such force and intensity. They also, It's funny. I watched the LeBron podcast with JJ like every week. It was really good. And they talked about the split cut that the Nuggets run and how to guard it and what they would do. And then like the Nuggets ran split cut at them like 5 straight times in the third quarter, and it worked every single time. And that split cut is just so tough. That's where the guards screen for each other off ball, and then Jokic finds them, and they have to be able to, if you switch it, you're behind them. And you're going to leave open, you're probably going to leave open the 3. If you don't switch it, you're trailing. It's a disaster. Like, it's such a tough play. Like, there's a way to stop it. I'm just not smart enough to know how to do it, because it's so terrific. And the action that they run, it was really good. People are mad that Jamal missed 4 free throws. It's fine, guys. I promise it's fine. Jamal was not bad tonight. It's okay. The Dario Saric minutes were bad. Minus 12. You could have caught that by watching Swipe's Twitter feed, because if Dario does anything wrong, you can rest assured Swipe is going to tweet about it. DeAndre was fine, though, in his 4 minutes. So, look, this may be a thing where Malone tries Saric, and if it doesn't work, he goes to DJ, and if that doesn't work, he goes to something else. That might be the way that this goes. And it might be like, try Dario. All right, that didn't work. Try Saric, or try Jordan. Okay, that didn't work. All right, let's try AG when he comes back. That might be the way to go about it. They're asking, why can't Russ be in 6-man talks? Sure, might be able to be there. I mean, I think he's been phenomenal, but he's doing things that help you win. That's not how you win 6-man. You just score a bunch. That's how you win 6-man. You score a bunch for a playoff team. That's the story of 6-man. It's not about who's actually good. It very rarely is. Malcolm Brogdon won it by having the best impact metrics. It's got to be a year where nobody scores a lot. If nobody scores over 18 a game coming off the bench, then you're good. But like, again, Peyton Pritchard is burning the nets up right now. Phenomenal performance overall by the Nuggets. Really impressive. On the other side, I'll talk about Michael Malone becoming the winningest coach in Nuggets franchise history. We'll do that up next here on Locked On Nuggets. You know, in my 20s, I realized it was time to get serious about my finances. I cleaned up some of my debt. I really started putting money away for savings. And if you're wondering why I decided to do that, I got married. And so there was a smarter person to make me do those things, because my wife is very smart. We've all hit a point where we realized it was time to make serious money moves. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free to overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. You can learn more at chime.com/NBA. I used to have overdraft problems all the time. And if you're in that kind of a position, and lots of folks are week to week, month to month, then that it's really great to not have to be terrified of those overdraft situations, because it can be really scary. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit's applied to your balance. You get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees, and you can use over 50,000 free ATMs. Chime has supplied members over $30 billion, with friends giving friends a boost. Eligible members get complimentary boosts to temporarily increase a friend's spot me limit. And when you give a boost, they can spot you back to boost your limit. Set up direct deposit in your Chime account, and after a qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges fees or interest for using Spot Me. Make your fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com disclosures for details. We're also brought to you by Gametime. Best way for you to get tickets. All sorts of cool stuff. Holiday concerts are coming to Denver. You've got Nuggets games. You've got Avs games. You've got so much cool stuff. You're going to want to check it out. Use Gametime to get the best seats, and you can get the seats that you know you want, because you can actually get the panoramic view and make sure that you're sitting where you want. No surprises with Gametime. They've got the lowest price guarantee. They'll credit you 110% of the difference if you find a better deal. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Oh, it's game time. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Sunday. We'll have no jinx for you on Sunday night. We'll talk about more about what we kind of discussed on tonight's show, and we'll preview the Nuggets game versus the Knicks on Monday. This is a real quick, brief reaction show. Michael Malone became the winningest coach in franchise history. And I'll talk about it with Ryan. I'll talk about kind of some interesting stuff. I want to take you back because before a lot of folks realized Nikola Jokic was amazing, before the Aaron Gordon trade, before the bubble, before Jamal Murray was a starter, Michael Malone was hired, and they had fired Brian Shaw, and Melvin Hunt had finished the year, and the players really loved Melvin. And I actually wrote a column that was like, hey, Melvin Hunt deserves this chance. He has been in the league a long time. He kind of deserves this opportunity. And the front office and ownership group decided not to go with Melvin. And they wanted a fresh start, and they really wanted a coach that they could believe in. And Malone had been fired in Sacramento, and he got fired after Boogie Cousins got meningitis and missed 2 weeks. They had started off and were above 500, and the Kings were good. But there were backroom politics going on that wanted to hire George Karl, and they needed an excuse to move on from Malone with a new front office. And they used that meningitis dip. They lost games without Boogie, and they used that as an excuse to fire Malone. And it was absurd. And it was really hard on Malone. And I didn't really realize, it took me a long time to understand how hard that was on him. That a guy that had been an assistant in the league so long, I would think was you get fired, you get more jobs. That's how it goes. His coach, Brendan, his dad, Brendan, rest in peace. He had a lot of jobs in his time. But for Malone, he always really took it personally. And you can talk about the reasons why for that, but also just it really influenced him, and it made him so desperate, but also because Malone wants to succeed. And I'll say this is really important. Malone loves basketball. He loves being in the gym. And if you say well, all coaches do, it's not true. There are coaches, especially a lot of former players, that are there because they don't know what else to do, because they can do it and it's a good job and you'll get a lot of money for it. Malone loves this stuff. He loves all parts of it. Malone doesn't love just one part of it. He doesn't just love the games. He doesn't just love winning. He doesn't just hate losing. He loves getting to know players and connecting with them. And he doesn't connect with everybody. I think he tries, but I don't think he does, because he's also stubborn. Malone's not a perfect person, has never pretended to be such. But he really cares, and he cares about winning, and he does care about the people in his locker room. He cares about his players, and he tries to be there for them and to take care of them and to support them and to try and get the best out of them. And maybe he doesn't always go about that the best way, but I think he really does care. And he cares about the organization, and he cares about trying to be great. For all of the criticisms that Malone takes for various things, Malone almost never makes the same mistake twice. Malone used to, one of the things that he had a real problem with is he would play the same bench lineup for 14 minutes to close games. He had a real problem with that. I think it was his second year was when he was doing that. And he looked back and he realized I did that too much. He comes back every year with, I realized X. I realized that I did X, or we did X, or we needed X. And he doesn't always go the full way, or he doesn't always reach the conclusions that fans may want, but he does put in the work and time. The Nuggets won a title. The Nuggets are a 50-win every year team. The Nuggets are awesome because of Nikola Jokic. No one is taking that away from Nikola. it does not denigrate Nikola at all, to give credit to other people. And Michael Malone deserves a lot of credit because before Jokic was a starter, before Jokic was a rotation player, Malone was changing the culture. You had to have been there to know how bad the Nuggets locker room culture was. It was broken. There was no professionalism. There was no intention of actually competing. Guys were cashing checks. No, there was nothing serious about the organization. I wrote for CBSSports.com at the time, and I called them a train wreck from ownership on down. And Malone did the things you need to do to change that. I've been told by a lot of executives that your culture is set by your best player, and I do believe that. And I think that a lot of what this team has become is because of Nikola. But you have to have somebody to lay the groundwork on the outside. Jokic is not a guy who's going to direct a lot of other people. He just wants to do his job and go home. You have to have somebody to counterbalance that who wants to do all the other stuff. Being a coach is as much about being a CEO as it is about being a tactician. And Malone excels at both. He has outcoached great coaches in the playoffs. He really has. He has made key adjustments in every series I've ever seen him compete in. And he very rarely gets beat on the coaching side. But that's all like tactical stuff that doesn't really actually do the hard work of coaching, which is development, buy-in, preparation, and details. And this is one of the most detail-oriented staffs you're ever going to find. They've had to back off because they were too detail-oriented for how long the NBA season is. Malone is now the winningest coach in franchise history. And I really never thought anybody was going to catch Doug Moe. When you looked at that number in the 400s and you saw how high it was, you have to be there for so long. First off, for Malone to have been coach of this team for a decade, it's a decade next summer if he makes it. Like that is ridiculous. And you go like, well, Pop and Spo and Kerr. Yeah, you're talking about 4 NBA championships for the Spurs, 3 NBA championships for the Heat, 4 NBA championships for the Warriors. And you go like, oh, but he doesn't have that many. It's true. But do you know why he's stayed as coach of this team? Because he has managed to always make them exceed expectation. And they do get better. And he does pay attention to the details. And Jokic does have he has Jokic's trust. And that matters. There's buy-in. So it's important to understand how much of a win this is for Malone and the franchise. Malone said tonight after the game, and it's a shame that they couldn't do it in Denver. He said after the game, he was like, I just wish my dad was here to see it. Last year was so hard on him. I know how hard last year was. Like Malone carried that grief with him from the loss of his father all year. And it was, look, I'm not sitting back there in his office with him, right? I used to do that with George from time to time, but I don't do that with Malone. But being around Malone to the degree that I could tell you, like, he just carried that with him all year. But he's able this year to take joy in his family and his daughters. And to achieve this and be this for the city and to have given what he has, to be the guy that wants to be this cornerstone in the city, I think is pretty cool. Congrats to Michael Malone for becoming the winningest coach in Nuggets franchise history. We'll talk tomorrow more about it. We'll talk about the upcoming week with the Knicks in town on Monday. More games ahead. But enjoy your Sunday fresh off of another win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Hope you guys have yourselves a great Sunday. We'll see you guys again next time here on Locked On Nuggets.